Hello, my favorite kindergartners. It's Mrs. Shirvani. How are you today? I hope that you're doing really well. I am excited for today's story. So we have learned about 4 different U.S. presidents. U.S. just stands for the United States. We've learned about 4 of them so far. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and last lesson we learned about Theodore or Teddy Roosevelt. Now, today we're going to learn about a president who was elected, or that means voted, in to become president much more recently. Today we're going to learn about the 44th president of the United States, Barack Obama. And as I read today's story, listen carefully to find out how he came to be elected president, how he was different or similar to presidents that we've had in the past, and what he likes to do with his family, because he is a big family guy and loves to be with his wife and his girls. So listen out for those things today, and then that is what we will write in our journals today. We will answer the question, what is one thing Barack Obama liked to do with his family? And Barack Obama is still alive today, so he still likes to do these things with his family. All right, let's get cozy and start reading about this guy right here. November 4th, 2008 was a day of celebration for many Americans. There were parties all across the United States. In Chicago, nearly 1 million people poured onto the streets. For them, it did not matter that it was cold or that it was late. They had something big to celebrate. Some of them waved flags, some blew party horns and danced in the streets. Some cried for joy, and many chanted 3 words, "Yes, we can." This was indeed an unforgettable day because these people were celebrating the election of Barack Obama as the 44th president of the United States. There he is right there. This is the celebration. That's a big screen that his video is just being projected on. Of course, there are always parties on election night, but the celebrations in honor of Barack Obama were different. What do you see in this picture? I see a big light right here. I see a lot of people. I see our flag, which is a symbol of the United States. I see people with cameras. I see a big stage right here. Let's keep reading. People were not just celebrating his election. They were also celebrating the fact that the United States had just elected an African American man as the next president, which had never been done before. This was an incredible achievement for a young man from a humble background, and he had worked very hard to get there. So when we say that Barack Obama came from a humble background, that means he didn't grow up in this fancy house. When you're humble, it means you're things that are plain and simple. You're not like a big braggy person. You're just humble. It's good to be humble. Barack Obama was born on August 4th, 1961 in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is all the way over here. It's part of the United States, but it's an island. That means surrounded by water. His mother was from Kansas and his father was from Kenya. So Kenya is not in the United States. Kenya is in Africa. His parents met at the University of Hawaii. Shortly after they were married, they had a son and named him Barack Obama. When Barack was a baby, his father left Hawaii to study at Harvard University in Massachusetts. When Barack was 2 years old, his parents got divorced. That means they decided not to be married anymore. Not long after that, Barack's father moved back to Kenya. Barack was raised by his mother and his grandparents, who loved him very much. As a young boy, Barack missed his father very much and thought about him often. Yeah. Ooh, this is Hawaii. Well, Barack Obama was a child growing up in Hawaii. He loved to go to the beach. Me too. He loved to play with his friends, many of whom were from very different parts of the world. For a while, he and his mom moved to Indonesia. Although this was an exciting time for young Barack, he also saw how hard life could be for some people, and he began to wonder how to make the world a fairer place. He began to dream about a better future for everyone. So, Indonesia is a country in Southeast Asia. It's a group of islands just like Hawaii, but it's not a part of the United States. So he and his mom moved very far away and saw a completely different culture. All his life, Barack had been told by his family that education was the most important gift. Hey, didn't Teddy Roosevelt's dad tell him that too? Yeah. Barack listened to these words and worked very hard in school. Barack received good grades and eventually went on to study at Columbia University and Harvard Law School. Those are two very good schools that are hard to get into. You have to work really, really hard to get into those schools. When Barack was 21 years old, his father died. Barack was sad that he never really got to know his father. He went on a trip to Africa to meet some of his family members and learn about the land his ancestors called home. Ancestors are some members of a family from someone's family a long time ago. It was during this visit that he dreamed about a better future for all Americans. He would work very hard to make this dream a reality. While Barack was attending Harvard Law School, he met Michelle Robinson. She's right here. Barack and Michelle got married in 1992 and later had two daughters, Malia and Sasha. Barack Obama became a lawyer and eventually went on to teach law school in Illinois. During that time in America, it was sometimes difficult for African Americans to go to college or to get jobs. Barack became a community leader in Chicago. He helped many people who were poor or who needed help. He encouraged young people to stay in school. He became interested in politics, which is the work of people who are a part of the government. And he began to work very hard to get more people to vote in elections. Barack Obama believed that if enough people voted for change, then change would happen. He became a U.S. Senator representing the state of Illinois in Washington, D.C. A senator is an important person in the government that helps make laws. Now his voice was being heard. In 2007, Barack Obama decided to run for president. He worked very hard to win the election, and he won it. It was a great accomplishment for President Obama. An accomplishment is something that's done really well and that you're successful at. But it was also a great accomplishment for the United States. Barack Obama became the first African American president of the United States. President Obama wanted to make sure everyone had the chance to get the type of good education he had been able to receive. He once said, "Nothing is more important than giving everyone the best education possible from the day they start preschool," so even younger than you guys, "to the day they start their career and they're an adult." Last picture. Being the President of the United States is a very important job. President Obama works very hard. He travels to many different countries and is always very busy helping to run the government of the United States. Nevertheless, he tries to spend as much time as he can with his wife and his daughters. Whenever possible, they eat dinner together, they watch movies, and they watch sports. And they also play with their family dog, Bo. I remember reading about Bo in our very first lesson. And Bo is in a lot of pictures. There's actually an entire children's book that's all about Bo, the White House dog. I'll try to find it for you guys. On November 7th, 2012, Barack Obama was re-elected president. This means that many, many Americans wanted him to be president for another 4 years. So he has been the president, he was the president for a total of 8 years. 4 and 4 is 8. So he was president for 8 years, which is the longest that you can be president for. You cannot be president for more than 8 years. Once again, many people celebrated long into the night, and once again, they chanted the words, "Yes, we can." So he was only the president until 2016, and then we got a new president after Barack Obama. So he's not the president anymore, but he was our most recent president, just not our current president. All right, so let's answer our journal questions. What is one thing that Barack Obama liked to do with his family? Well, we just read about that, right? He loved to eat dinner with them. He loved to watch movies and watch sports. And I know that he invited a lot of famous athletes to his home, to the White House when he lived there. A lot of presidents do that, but he liked it a lot. And they also liked to play with Bo, their dog. Yeah, I loved that President Obama came from that humble background that we talked about, and he worked so, so hard, though, to get a good education. And once he got his good education, that paid off, and he was able to achieve his dream of becoming president, which is pretty cool. And actually, guys, if you would like to, if your parents say it's okay, if you search on YouTube and PBS Kids, Michelle Obama, which is Barack's wife, she has been reading stories to young kids. I think she does it once a week, but she's been doing it the past month and a half, I think. So there's a bunch of them. My son and I just watched her read a book about dragons, and he really liked it. So if you want to watch Michelle Obama read, just search that on YouTube with your parents. I'm sure that you would enjoy it. Make sure you have their permission first, though, please. It's on YouTube Kids, too. All right, guys, we will be back with our next lesson all about the symbols of the United States. Bye.